So was you working on that from 2008 all the way up to 2011 then?
Yeah, I mean, so 2008 was the sort of initial engagement.
Yeah.
So I can't really say that we were creating the product then, because there was a lot of like
No.
discussion backwards and forwards. What do you really need, etc. But then once we chose the architecture, then it was all guns blazing. And I think we got I can't remember the exact date, but we got a thing called a temporary PA, which allowed us to
Oh, okay, yeah.
which I think was about 2010. But early 2010, and because I think it was about 18 months that we took to take that product, take it to trial, look at trial feedback, and we had a really successful trial. The product didn't let us down at all on any of the
Oh,
trials,
lovely, yeah.
which is really good. And then, my thoughts at that time was that we were going to concentrate on the two user systems, but as I understand it, that the multi-user system that Network Rail was having some teething problems with, because we were in a competition which not many people appreciated at the time, but there was two companies going for this sort of type capability.
Right, okay.
One was known as Detcom, which was coming from, this is why I said it's David and Goliath. It was 3M, massive, great organisation. And they had something off the shelf where we developed our system to suit.
Yeah.
And we named it Athena. So at the time, we concentrated on the two user system, and we were sort of saying, well, look, that Detcom can do the multi, but they then asked us, Network Rail asked us to do a multi-user system as well. So we then went on to do what we call now our Apollo range, and we then created a multi-user system as well as the two-user system. So, I mean, and that's where we went. And there was a few things that, as I said, was quite exciting, and understanding the speak and the terminology. And up until that point, of course, from 2008 to 2011, end of 2011,
Yeah.
we actually got qualified. I think it was December 2011.
Yeah.
We actually got qualified with a full PA. And I think that what happened then was there was still no money coming in because there was no orders coming in. So it was a sort of, if you look at any curve of if you're looking at Boston matrices or investment appraisals and all the rest of it, it was all out and nothing in. So
Yeah.
very steep curve downwards. But we soon recovered. The key thing that the challenges, should we say, that was going on at that time was the market perception of dBD Communications, and was it a credible, capable company?
Yeah.
And I think that there was a lot of that in the early stages where, and also this, there was a bit of an ambiguity in the fact that people were saying, well, it's not Detcom, it's not qualified, but it was qualified. It was actually qualified a month before Detcom, and of course now Detcom's become obsolete. So it sort of it stood the test of time, and and it's still got I think it's less than 5% failure rate. We've sold over 12,000 systems now. Very difficult to judge because it's very difficult to actually pinpoint what the exact market size is. But I suspect if you do the analysis, we're probably about 80% market share.
Yeah, we have looked at some of that before, haven't we? So
Yeah. Well, it was the doubters at the beginning are probably eating their words, but
yeah.
but it's the same.
There's allowed to be doubting new things, it's
Yeah, I
just
mean,
like,
we've had the same in air. I mean, we're being quite successful in our air campaigns now. But at the very beginning, people, I mean, and of course, international travel is really expensive. So people were saying, is this really worth the time and effort to get
yeah.
into the air market? And we're proving now it is. But there was people in the company that were doubting that in the early stages. So and you do, and it's the natural thing that anything new, anything from an entrepreneurial point of view, it always carries a lot of risk, and any entrepreneur will advise that you've got to be, you've got to have the dedication and the motivation, and have the foresight to see the strategic win at the end of the trail. And end of the trail, there's an interesting thing. I mentioned it earlier. Look, there's my there's my statue that I made many years ago, and that's
You made that
actually
yourself?
I made this, well, ceramic mould. And when I was stationed in Canada, I used to have a pastime and a hobby of doing ceramics.
Oh,
And
nice.
and that particular one, it's how I've hung my army dog tags over it, so there's got. But that particular little ornament there is called End of the Trail, and I think it just depicts that, that native American Indian sort of tired, leaning up with his horse up against the rock because he's spent. But I don't think we're ever spent. But sometimes you sort of feel like that, where you've got to a point where, do you know what, I need a rest. And I think sometimes dBD has forgot that sometimes we need a rest. We need to suck air in rather than keep going bonkers. And I think, in fairness, COVID, whilst we've pursued COVID and pursued COVID and helped the industry while COVID's been on, I think it's sort of pushed people to have, both personally and from a company perspective, to take an inward look at what things can do. And there's nothing good in COVID, right? I'm not suggesting that, but I think that has been a facilitator for us to review both our individual and our company needs and things.
Yeah,